Hi everyone, I'm Gail Newell and I'm a member of the Textile Arts Guild of Richmond, TAGOR for short. We're a group of people who enjoy making many different kinds of textile pieces for practical and decorative purposes. So when Quilt Canada invited us to showcase who we are and what we do for the 2022 National Show in Vancouver, we got our creative juices going. 12 of us brainstormed ideas for the banner. We wanted it to have icons to reflect our Richmond location and a variety of techniques to represent the very diverse interests, talents, and projects of our members. Our quilters love to make kids' quilts for family, friends, and our community partners. We have donated many hundreds of quilts to cover incubators in the Richmond Hospital and to Family Place for struggling families in Richmond. Pat made these fun wonky stars with a technique that joins scraps of fabric into a background fabric. Many of our quilts use scraps left over from other projects to make beauty instead of overloading the landfill. Ruth is one of our modern quilters. Modern quilting techniques include curves, minimalism, and asymmetry. This old biplane reminds us that the first powered flight in Western Canada took off from the old Minaroo racetrack, March 25, 1910. Richmond is the location of the busiest airport in Western Canada and the second largest in Canada. Barbara enjoys making art pieces. The various colors were stitched using raw edge applique, and then she added detail with machine stitching and hand embroidery. This block was inspired by a photograph her husband took from the West Dyke, looking across the strait toward Vancouver Island. It shows the varied vegetation of the marsh and one of the radar reflectors that helps ships steer clear of this shallow water. Joan enjoys making hexies. These are 6-sided pieces of fabric which are joined in a myriad of designs. Inspired by a traditional grandmother's garden design, Joan hand-sewed her hexies into flowers. The leaves, stems, and flowers are hand-stitched to the background fabric. The vase is a representative of the fidget muff some members make. Sherry is one of our knitters and has made a lot of fidget muffs. A fidget muff is a knitted tube with tassels, beads, buttons, and other interesting objects securely sewn on the inside and outside of the tube. People with dementia find it calming if their hands have something to play with. In the winter, the muff keeps their hands warm as they play. In the summer, they can play with the bling on the outside of the muff. Our members knit muffs, toques, and many other items for our community partners. Ellie made this split 9-patch block into which the heron's beak extends looking for dinner. A split 9-patch is one of the countless patterns of traditional quilting that many of us do. It is also one of the magical quilting patterns that start with simple pieces and work into marvelous designs. Maureen's block of maple leaves is an example of paper piecing. Using a paper pattern, the fabric is stitched together right through the paper. It allows the quilters to get really nice fine points in their patterns. Paper piecing and traditional piecing can be combined in the same block as she did with the leaf on the bottom right. The green background used for 3 of our banner blocks represents the generosity of our members, friends, and Richmond residents. We make many community projects from fabric and yarn donated to our guild. Ellie made this wonky heart to represent the care and concern with which our members make items for our community partners. The heart is an example of the strip piecing technique that many quilt patterns are built from. Gail machine appliqued this salmon block in recognition that Richmond has been a place for fishing salmon for a long, long time. The Musqueam peoples on whose land we have settled spent summers here gathering salmon. Settlers from Japan, China, Europe, and other parts of the world worked in the fishing industry and early canneries that lined the shores of Steveston. Today, many people of the world make up our multicultural landscape. Great blue herons are iconic in Richmond and in the logo of our city, so Gail created this applique heron patterned from her photographs of this marvelous bird. Techniques used are raw edge applique and thread painting to add a feathery touch. TAGOR members enjoy pushing the boundaries of their art and have received awards entering local shows. The name Textile Arts Guild of Richmond, or TAGOR for short, says we're interested not just in quilting but in all forms of textile art. We serve the people of the city of Richmond, providing both arts education opportunities and useful, beautiful items for donation. Vicky made the letters to spell out our guild name for the left and bottom borders. The edges of the letters are frayed with a felting comb to add texture and dimension to the letters. Our logo completes the bottom border. Richmond is an island of farms and city from where we see the mountains and ply our craft. The colors of our banner were chosen from our logo. Having a common color scheme is a time-honored way of bringing together multiple blocks for one unified whole quilt. Quilting is the stitching together of the layers of the top, batting, and backing. The banner was quilted by Gail on a home sewing machine with both straight stitching and free motion. This close-up of part of our banner shows that quilt stitching is both functional to hold the layers together and decorative to add texture, dimension, and interest to a quilt. Quilters may also quilt by hand or use a large machine called a long arm. After the layers are quilted together, the edges need to be finished. Rather than a plain binding, we designed the quilt to have a flange. This is an extra strip of fabric around the edge that adds a pop to the piece. The flanged binding was a joint effort by Eileen and Irene, finishing the edges nicely. We make more than quilts and knitted items, so Frida made and hung tiny representations of chemo caps and bags from the bottom of the hanging. We make chemo caps for cancer patients treated at Richmond Hospital. We make book and shopping bags for the public health nurse and family place. We reuse and recycle wherever we can. Our banner bags, made from old Richmond street banners, are sold at the Steveston Museum to support our community work.